Hello, hello. Let's see. Tidy tray. Here's my tidy tray. Oh, and there, I'm gonna have to use paste paper today. Would you get me a piece of printer paper, please? Can you hear me okay, Betty? Is it just us so far?
It shows 6 people are in the stream. They're not chatting with you, but there's 6 watching.
I'm not sure Betty can hear me.
How many brownies?
Are you having brownies, Betty? Thank you. Oh, there's Mirri. Hello, Mirri. Hi, Betty. Okay. Well, since it's that time, I'm going to go ahead and show you two our projects, and then others can join us. Can you guys hear me okay?
Microphone's working.
Let's take a look at what we're going to make today. We're going to make classic British racing cars. There's Betty Gozzle. Hi, Betty. Yes, good. All right. Thank you, guys. Okay, can you go ahead and zoom in on my hands, honey?
Yep. Zoom in on the card. And let's change the
There you
screen
go.
setting.
Can you go ahead and there you go. Okay, we're going to make classic British race cars today. And we're going to give them a glassy or a sparkly and glassy finish, depending on your preferences. We're making this one. We are making this one. Here's one that's got the glitter in it that you can see what it looks like when it's glittered. I love these because we're using these really fun screw breads that have a little leather. I think it's leather. It might be just painted chipboard. I'm not sure. But a little leather looking disc behind the screws. And then we're making this one. And we're making, here's another one that I've glittered so you can see the effect of the glitter in it. And we're making this one. There's Brenda. Hi, Brenda. So we're making these 4 race car cards today. Let's take a look at what's in your kit. Where we will have this wonderful sheet from Ciao Bella. This is the rice paper. You will have in your kit 4 of these cards that have heat resistant adhesive on them already. You will get 4 card bases, 4 envelopes, of course. You're going to get 4 sheets. Hi, Catherine. Welcome, welcome. Oh, well, I'm glad you got your second shot. That's good. I hope you're feeling better from that now. Yeah, we're going to use this to what's it oxide metal. What is it? What's that called? Um, it's this mirror board, oxidized metal. That's what it's called. But I love this. Isn't that perfect for masculine cars? I love this. It's fun. So we're going to use the oxidized metal. We have one of our cards has a gold mirror mat as well as the oxidized metal. You'll have some screw brads. Yours will match. You'll have 2 of them. This is the 3 colors that might be in your kit. I'm going to take the discs out behind mine because I don't have 2 that match. So, because I got the last kit, of course. And you'll have a little packet of our nail heads that will decorate up our finished project. So let's, oh, and of course, you're also going to get this really nice, generous pack of wow embossing powder. One is the regular wow embossing powder. I'm going to say you get about 2 ounces, give or take. I think that's about right. And you're going to get another packet that is generously dosed with our really high quality, super fine glitter that I have found to work extremely well with this wow embossing. Now, you'll remember we've used this technique a few times before. We did it on the train, we did it on the animal cards, the bear, the wolf, the fox, the bear, fox, eagle, the bear, fox, and eagle. And we did it, huh? No, that's what I did for your dad for Christmas. And we did this over the napkin cards. So there's lots of uses for this, and you are going to have way more of this powder than you need for these cards. You're going to be able to make a dozen probably cards or more, maybe even more than that, out of the supplies that you have here. So this kit costs a little bit more because of these supplies, but you have lots to work with on other cards, and we haven't had it for a while, so it will be nice to replenish your supplies with that. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to put my mirror board out of the way here for a minute. My mirror board and my card bases. Let's just work on getting our bases ready to go. And I'll set that up there for a minute. I'm going to get my scissors out, and I'm going to cut this with my scissors. I could cut it with my paper cutter, and it will cut on your Caterpillar. However, your Caterpillar does not like this really, really fine paper. This is almost like tissue paper. It doesn't like cutting this as well as it does cutting heavier paper, and I find it just as easy to scissor cut these. So I'm just going to cut out my 4 cars to start with. Okay, let's go ahead. I don't see Roberta out there yet. I was going to call her. I didn't get a chance to do that. But she's not here today. I got to give her a call. I thought about it the other night. It was a little too late Maryland time to call her. But I will call her today if I don't hear from her. Make sure everything's okay in her world, because it's not like her to miss a couple of classes. Okay. I'm just going to cut these apart. The truth is, guys, we are going to trim down our cards we put these on, so we have a second chance to trim these up when we're done actually glittering them or glazing them. So they don't have to be super perfect, because we're going to have another run at trimming them. But this will be our last Father's Day style card that we'll do. But we certainly have brought you a good selection of potential masculine cards over the last couple weeks. Is that Roberta? Is she on here? Roberta, we were worried about you, lady. I was worried about you. I was going to call you today if I didn't hear from you. You probably heard that. You doing okay? We were worried. Oh, I'm so glad to hear from you. We miss you when you're not here. You doing all right? once you join us for a while, you're family. Then we reserve all family rights like worrying. Because that's what we do. We love our family. Okay, let's pull our adhesive covered cardstock out here. I'll show you what I used on these. It's the good stuff. We used this, I believe this one's Score brand. It's either Score brand or Elizabeth Craft, and I'm fairly certain they both use the same one because they both have the same name on the liner on the outside. But this is really good adhesive being heat resistant. It's the best we've got for being heat resistant. And I found I was going to use those big sheets from JEJE, but I found that those are kind of hit and miss. Some of them are heat resistant and some aren't. So I decided to be safe and use these in the kits. Let's go ahead. We're going to peel this liner. You have a nice bit of paper around this. Just FYI, this paper behind here today, this is the lighter weight essentials block from Hunkydory. So we have these pads, and they have, I think it's 75 sheets to a pad. And you can just go ahead and position your image anywhere on that sheet. Then I want you to put your tape, run it back on, and really rub that down good. Let's make sure that gets a really good adhesion to our tape, nice and level. If you had a brayer sitting there, this would be a good job for a brayer to run that back and forth over here. I don't happen to have one sitting here today, but it'd be a good job for a brayer. If you have one handy, you might grab that and have it out with your set when you do your cards. But that's going to be down good. Let's just leave that on there for a minute till we're ready to use that. That'll keep everything off of it till we're ready for it. I think my book is in the mailbox. I got notice from Amazon that it's here. It hasn't come in yet, though. I think it's in the mailbox. It sounds really good, though. I'm looking forward to taking some reading time just for me. Okay, I'll set that one aside. In addition to your kit supplies and scissors and a trimmer, of course, you're going to want some tape or glue. You're going to want an embossing pad. That's a necessary supply for this. For obvious reasons, I didn't put an embossing pad in your kit because we've done this lots of times, and it didn't make sense to give you a supply you probably already had in your kit, or in your stash. Okay, last one here. All right. If you haven't re-inked your embossing pad in a while, it's a good time to re-ink it before you start with this process. Can you arrow down, please? Okay, good to know. All right. Excuse me. Get a little drink here. All right. Here we go. I'm going to get my paper out here. I'm just going to work on a sheet of paper today because I'm sprinkling this so generously that my little catch-all, oops, that's the wrong embossing pad, and one that's pretty messy and one that's pretty good. And I'm just going to take I'm using Prism embossing pad. You can use any major brand of embossing powder or embossing pad to do this. And now I'm just going to take my pad and I'm going to go very generously over my image. I'm going to get the whole thing thoroughly wet. Get a nice coating of ink on there. Now, I think I'm going to use, I'm not sure I'm going to use glitter in all of them. I think I want to do some with and some without again, perhaps, but I'm going to put glitter on this first one for sure. So let's get some glitter glaze out here. And I'm going to put a lot on this card. I actually have a jar I have started for my glitter that I'll probably pour this back into. I recommend getting a little jar for this. And I'm going to make sure that everything is thoroughly covered. A little corner there that didn't get it poured over quite as much. As much as I try to keep this process clean, I always seem to make a mess of it. Let's see. Can I use to scoop that back up? Okay. All right. Yeah, some of it's good, you know, and some of it just didn't do the trick. So the first sheet I tried when I went to do this really bubbled. And so I decided to go back to my old faithful and use these rolls for this kit. Yeah. Now, some batches seem to be and some don't, but it just isn't consistent. So you may find if you have some UU that it's going to be fine, but because I believe we tried some and it came out fine, but then the last batch that came in really didn't do it. So I don't know. It's weird, but I just decided that we needed to avoid any risk that it wouldn't behave nicely and give you the good stuff in this kit. More expensive, but good stuff anyway. Okay. Gotta get my gun plugged in here. Oh, this is the other supply you're absolutely going to need is your heat gun. Mine happens to be by Zap, but there's lots of good heat guns on the market. Most will get this job done really well. So let's go ahead and it's always fun to come on in close here, honey, so we can watch this turn. It's kind of fun to watch it turn. Keep your gun moving. Don't hold it in one place too long. You don't want to risk scorching anything. Keep your gun moving. There we go. Oh, it's starting to turn. See it in the corner here? But one thing I love about this process is that it really intensifies the colors under it. There goes our car. See it? It really intensifies the color of the image when you put the embossing powder over it. It's really neat. I'm hitting these outer edges because I don't want that glitter all over my desk, so I'm going to let it bond to the paper, even though I'm trimming that part off. I just don't want the glitter all over my paper. Keep your gun moving, Nolan. Make sure you go to every area. Okay, I think we're pretty good there. We get these outer edges one more time. Make sure all that glitter, wow, is bonded down good. Now you can see when I hold this up, there is absolutely no buckling at all to this adhesive. So it's really good stuff. Isn't that pretty? Look at that. And I was telling Corey, who used to work here, she's Lauren's best friend. She was here last night. And I was telling Corey about this project that we're doing today. And she said, "You're putting glitter on race cars?" And I said, "Yeah, it looks surprisingly great." She said, "You think the guys will like the glitter?" Yeah, I do. How many cars do you see that have glitter in the finish? Guys are going to like the glitter too. Yes, actually, um, this heat gun, Catherine, it's from Zap. It's called Zap, and I use this one. But there's lots of good heat guns available. That is true that Roberta originally brought me this technique for doing this on napkins, and then we've kind of run with it and gone into some additional projects with it. But Roberta shared this one initially. Now, once you put down this layer with the glitter, you only need one layer with the glitter. You don't need to have multiple layers with the glitter. Now you can go on to your regular embossing powder. So next time, this time, this time, we're going to use the clear. I'm going to shake my kept sheet off good so I don't corrupt my plain embossing powder with a lot of glitter. And I'm going to take my pad back to it again. And this time I'm gonna get it damp again. Gonna make sure I get every surface of that car covered. Gonna get my packet of regular powder out here. Sprinkle that on very generously. We're going to recapture most of it like you do with glitter. But I want to make sure I get it really good on there. I want every surface covered really nicely. There we go. Now we've got a nice covering of that. I'll pour that off into my jar. Okay. All right. Get our gun out here again. See what happens when we start. You know, I said British because I don't know cars at all. These are from Ciao and they could very well be classic American cars. So it could very well be classic American cars that are used in these scenes. Because, like I said, I know nothing about cars, nothing whatsoever. In fact, one of them looks like the car from Supernatural. So they could very, very well be. You guys will know more than me, which is often the case. I mean, come on, let's be real. You guys often know more than I do about the given subject. There we go, it's turning already. We're going to put a couple of layers of glaze over this. And glaze is just, what I mean by that is just the clear embossing powder. Now this first layer is really going to combine with the second layer is really going to combine with the first layer, and then as we build up, we'll get more and more clear coat to it. I think these will actually turn out better than the sample cards, because in the sample cards I used ultra thick embossing enamel, and I just didn't get the same glassy effect that I was going for when I used the finer powder. So I think these will turn out even better than the first ones. This isn't going to look a whole, after doing this first round, it isn't going to look a whole lot different than it looked when I held it up last time. It's just getting, kind of getting a base of that wow built up there. But still, absolutely not a single buckle in our paper. Okay. You don't wish you had it now? Oh, don't I wish I had it now? Yeah. Okay. It sounds like you guys know a lot about cars. I know nothing. Nothing. Okay, putting down another layer of our embossing pad ink.
Why are you doing so many layers?
Because I want it to have a glassy effect on the top. I want it to look smooth and beautiful. And it's just going to make the image look more and more rich as we add more layers to it. Here we go again. Now already this won't rub off at all. This glitter is not going to rub off anywhere on this image.
Catherine asked a question.
Oh, what did you ask, Catherine? Can you use the glitter again? Oh, you mean when I pour it back into the bottle, will I be able to use it again? Absolutely. Absolutely. I've captured all my glitter in this little bottle, and I'll use that over and over and over again till I use up that supply, Catherine. So yes, absolutely, you can use it over and over again. Use up everything. Okay, should have opened that before I picked up the paper.
Important lesson.
Don't mind me, I kind of get everything backward. Once again, I'm going to tap off my paper really, really well because I don't want a lot of glitter in my clear embossing powder when I pour that next.
So you're alternating your things? I don't think I picked that up.
Oh,
Deborah.
I did. I just poured my plain powder into my
Glitter powder.
into my glitter bottle. It's okay. I'm just going to shake it up and it'll be fine. I actually used the right powder here, guys, but I poured my spare into my glitter bottle. So now I'm going to have just ever so slightly diluted glitter, which I could add some more glitter to if I need to. But, oh, Deborah, sometimes I'm just silly. I got talking about glitter and just picked up the glitter bottle. Well, this is clear on here, guys. And next, I'm going to use that bottle. Let me set this one aside for a minute. And we're going to begin to get a glassier finish with this layer. That was silly. No, I'm not alternating. I'm not meaning to alternate anyway. Everything after the first layer will be the clear. Now, I've been asked lots of times, will this technique work okay with glittered embossing powders? And I've tried it, and my general thought is no. It does not work the same with glittered embossing powders. The glittered embossing powders tend to have a chunkier glitter, which obscures the view of the background. And some of the glittered embossing powders are not in clear. So, if you use one that is not in a clear base, you're not going to see a thing. And if it has too much glitter or the glitter is too concentrated, it obscures your view. We're not trying to obscure the view of what we're covering. We just want to have that beautiful glittery sheen to it, but we don't want to cover it up. So I would not use regular glittered embossing powder to do this. Okay, let's try another coat. Oops, I should have showed you that. That's okay. I'll show it to you after this one. This time I'm going to grab the clear. I used the clear last time. I just poured it back in the wrong bottle. At least I poured the clear into the glittered bottle instead of pouring the glitter into the clear bottle.
You got 3 cards to go, I'm sure.
Bryce says I've got 3 cards to go. Yeah, you want real fine embossing powder. This Wow brand is great for this. We sell this in the store. And this is clear gloss super fine. See if the camera will get that number. There you go. And there's the number if you want it. Come on. Come on, camera. It's having a hard time focusing. It's got an autofocus. There we go. Okay. It is WA01SFL. And it's got a T in parentheses at the end of it. But we sell this in the store. Just type WOW. It should show up along with all the kits where we've used WOW or any that we currently have available. Okay. Now this is the clear bottle. I'm going to pour the clear powder in the clear bottle. How's that? Just for change of pace, Okay. Let's put this back down, and by now we should begin getting that glassy finish we're looking for. Let's see what happens. The other thing, excuse me, that tends to happen with the UD when I was using that, the ultra fine embossing enamel, the other thing that seems to happen is it causes, because it's so very thick, it tends to cause the paper to roll a little more. And as you build up your layers with the UD, it when you straighten out your paper, it can crack. Now, that's not the worst thing, because if it cracks on you, get it down where you want it, then hit it with the heat gun again. That will remelt the enamel, and it will repair the cracks. Hi, Elsie. Nice to see you. Oh, congratulations, a little girl. Oh, we're getting that nice glassy finish now, guys. This is exactly what we're going for. I'll show you here. Okay, good night, Catherine. Hitting the outer edge here, just so I don't have that little powder all over again. Oh, we're getting a beautiful glassy finish here now. Loving this. If it still looks grainy, go over the top again. This is turning out beautiful. I think this one is about ready to go now. I could put one more if I wanted. Don't have to. Keep that gun moving though. Don't stop. Because if you're stopping, excuse me, you still risk scorching it. And you don't want to overcook that powder. You just want that powder to lay down nicely. Now this one would be tacky to the touch now if I were to touch it, because it is really, see that shine we're getting? Let's see if I can get it. Can you see that? There we go. See that shine we're getting across the top? Isn't that beautiful? There we go. That's the look we're looking for. That's why we did the extra layers right there, Bryce. Isn't that pretty? Okay. Let's set it aside. We'll do another. I'm going to start with our glittered layer. Excuse me. We're going to get our embossing pad out here, and we're going to hit this all over really good with our embossing pad.
You do one glitter layer and you did 3 clears.
1 glitter and 3 or even 4 if you feel like you want it, layers of the wow. And had I not poured it back in the vials, you would see that you have most of your powder left even after all those layers. Sparkle and shine. Or glittering, also known as glitter and glaze. Okay, you know what? I'm going to pour it out of my bottle instead of this packet because, as you could see, since I poured the wrong powder in here last time, I still have a really, really nice shiny glitter. I add lots and lots of glitter into the powder when I make it. It's got about half an ounce of powder to half. It's got a full ounce when I make this. I'll tell you my recipe. It's one of these bottles has over an ounce, a whole little regular glitter vial in one bottle of this. I mix it half at a time. And so that's my recipe. I use our ultra high quality, super fine glitter. And I use a half an ounce of glitter to a half a bottle. So it ends up being 1 full ounce of glitter to one vial of this embossing powder. If you wonder what I'm doing, yes, I'm wiping that off on my pant leg. I'm known to do worse. Okay, I'm sealing this up and setting it well out of the way so I don't grab the wrong one. Now, would it hurt this if I ran more than one layer of glitter over it? No way. It'd be fine. It'd be fine. It just would be kind of a waste of my glittered stuff because I really only need one layer to get the job done. But it wouldn't hurt anything if I put 2 layers of the glitter. You just eventually want to go with the clear stuff though, so you can get that window kind of look to the glassy kind of look to it. My gun is really hot now, so it starts melting the powder way earlier than it did when I first started. But it's also easier to scorch, huh? Oh, good night, Elsie. Congratulations again. That's very exciting on the baby. Congratulations, Grandma. Have fun with that little girl. Thanks for sharing your news. Look for anywhere in your image that the lettering and image isn't coming through real clear. If it isn't coming through real clear, you probably still have some powder to bake there. Because the color should really intensify as you go. Now you'll notice one thing here. While my tape is not rippling at all, I was heating it faster this time, and you notice how my paper itself wrinkled a bit more. That just from the heat. I'm just straightening it out a little by hand. Now I'm going to go to putting on my second coat. I'm going to leave my glitter where it sits. And I'm going to put my second coat on here. If you do what I did, though, just shake your vial really well. It's got so much glitter in it that it won't hurt that we diluted it just a little. It won't hurt at all. Okay, get my paper back here. I don't know if I've ever told you guys that one of my favorite activities is to go to the movies. I love the movies. I just really, really love going to the movies. I love going to the movies and eating popcorn and drinking pop and doing nothing. You know, when you're self employed and you work at home, your work is, you never really leave work. And so I don't mind that. I love my work, but I I tend to work really almost all the time when I'm at home. I always have a computer in my lap. I always have a phone at my ear. I am always either working on or thinking about a project. And I love to go to the movies because I can eat popcorn, which I love theater popcorn. I can drink pop. I can just take time off and do nothing. I find it very, very relaxing to go to the movies. Well, obviously, I haven't been to the movies for a year now, but our COVID levels are now low in our area, and the movie theaters are starting to open back up. We're now fully vaccinated, and we made the decision last weekend to go to the movies. We went and saw Cruella, and it was wonderful, by the way. Although it's more of in my opinion, it's more of an adult mid-teen on up show than it is for little people. Um, the humor, the themes, and stuff in the show seem to be more of a older child or young teen on up to adult themes. But I'm telling you, we had such a good time that um, when the girls invited me to go and see a scary movie with them last night, I went and once again thoroughly enjoyed the process. Our theaters here are taking really, really good precautions. They're completely wiping the theater down after each showing. Each group of people is separated from other parties by two full seats, and these are the big reclining seats. So you're well separated from other groups by more than 6 feet every way around you. And it was really, really fun. It really felt like for the first time we're kind of getting back to some sense of normalcy. And I got to say, I thoroughly enjoyed the experience. I like scary movies. I don't like slasher movies, but I like scary movies. I have to admit, I like scary movies most because I can reach out and scare the girls in the scary part of the movie. I'll reach out and grab their shoulder or something. See you later, Elsie. Congratulations again. I love to reach out in the scariest part and grab somebody's shoulder, make them scream. It just does my heart good, because that's who I am as a mom. But it's nice that they let me go with them. Bryce doesn't like scary movies at all. He says, nope, not for me. I'm not going. But I like it. Escapism. I do have a mean streak, Brenda. I do. My oldest daughter, Jordan, she really, really, really gets terrified in scary movies. And one day the girls convinced her to watch a scary movie with them. And one of the themes in this particular movie is that when the bad guy was showing up, they went, it was part of a game they played. You might know the movie. But anyway, that in the scariest parts of the movie, you hear this clapping sound, and they had all the lights out upstairs, and they're watching this movie, and Jordan's eyes are the size of saucers, you know. And right when I was downstairs and I was listening, and right in the part where the bad guy was showing up, and I knew there was going to be clapping, I came up the stairs and did that clap. My daughter came up off the sofa. I thought she was going to have a heart attack. It was pretty funny. Tell me you didn't. Oh, I did. Oh. She was an adult one time, and we were talking about a vampire movie that we had just seen. It wasn't even a scary vampire movie as vampire movies go. You remember what's it called? The something boys, the Lost Boys. The Lost Boys. And we'd been watching The Lost Boys, and Jordan was terrorized, of course, because Jordan gets terrorized by such things. But that's not a terribly scary vampire movie. But she was terrorized by it. And she got ready to go in and go to bed. And I told her she probably should close the curtains so she didn't see the vampires lurking outside the window. She told me she didn't sleep all night after I said that. I'm sorry, Mary. We won't ever see a scary movie together. Because I would be mean. I would. I would have it. I would find it absolutely necessary. Oh, it's a wonder my daughters love me anyway. I want to show you this one when we're done and see it, just so you can see the difference in the finish, because you might decide that you like this kind of granular finish that this has at this point. It's actually kind of has its own charm. Rather than being glassy, it's slightly it's slightly granular looking, and it too is pretty. It's just different than than when we put extra layers on. But I want you to see the difference in the finish from this one when we get this layer done. I'll go pick up one of Teddy's puppies. What did she say? Not watching a movie with Teddy. Well, the Humane Society kind of took care of the possibility of Teddy ever having puppies. But I promise, if you remind me that you're terrified of such things, I promise not to startle you. When you come see me. Because I am a little mean. I really am. Oh. Okay, I want you to see the finish on this one compared to the glassy one that we had before. Let's see if we can get a camera angle that will show there we go. See how this one looks? Can you see that? Let's see if I can tip it a little again. And see if we can get that reflection going. I had it there for a second. See it? This is a little bit, it's like it has little micro bumps. There it is. See it? It's almost almost textural, like fabric. Can you see that now? Well, that's exactly what the Humane Society was going for when um, they take care of the puppies before they go. This is glossy, but it's got kind of a linen. That's the word I'm looking for. It's got kind of a linen finish to it after the first coat on the glitter, and then um, before you get to the point that it really turns glassy, you have kind of a linen finish to it at this point. It's just ever so slightly um, textured. One more, and we'll probably have the glassy finish to it. But although when you come see me, Mary, I think I figured out where Teddy came from originally, the breeder that Teddy came from. Um, when we first got him, and they told us when we got him that he was a toy. You know, that's what the Humane Society had guesstimated, that he would be a toy poodle. And it turns out when we did his genetic testing, Banfield does that automatically when you take them in for their first checkup. It turns out he's a miniature. I didn't think there were any toy breeders in this area, but there is a breeder of miniature poodles. Now, they are not the ones who took Teddy to the Humane Society. The people who purchased him from the breeder are the ones that took him to the Humane Society. And actually, I really have to kind of commend them for doing that. They could have resold him on Craigslist or done some terrible thing, and they didn't. They said, well, maybe it wasn't the greatest of planning on their parts, but they decided after having him for just 2 days, wasn't it 2 days, honey? 2 or 3 days. I don't remember what the Humane Society said now, but it was just a couple of days that a puppy just didn't fit their lifestyle. And so they took him to the Humane Society and surrendered him with everything that they had purchased for him. What do I do with that pack of wipes? They took him in and surrendered him. They didn't do something terrible like sell him to some unknown person. They took him to the Humane Society so that the Humane Society would get so that they would do some background checking and find a good pet parent for him. And I commend them for that if they couldn't take care of him. But I think the breeder for Teddy is not too far away from us here in Tigard. I've never talked to them, but I've seen their ad, and they have puppies that look just exactly like Teddy on their website. The same expressions, the same coloring, the same everything. So I think that might be anyway where he came from. And it appears to be a nice kennel that it came from. So if you want to come see me and make arrangements with them to pick up a puppy, they'll certainly be happy to see you, and I won't scare you with news. Now with this one, you're going to go over it an extra time. What are we on, 2 layers or 3 on this one? We'll probably ultimately judge it based on how glossy we get it, but it appears that this one's glossing up pretty well, so we might be on the 3rd layer. I'm not sure. Really, it doesn't matter how many layers. It's when you get the effect you like. With the cars, I kind of like the kind of window pane glassy look, but you can do it however you like. On the train, when I did that one, I didn't do the glassy look. I kind of kept it at that linen sort of stage, and I think it turned out beautiful. I'm going just a little slower, letting those powders melt into each other and create that glassy finish. But I'm not holding too long in any one place. I'm just kind of letting that turn glassy. And I'm looking at this at an angle and I can actually watch the glitter and the glaze actually turn into that glassy finish. From an angle, I can see it happening. So I know when I'm getting that finish I'm looking for. And it's looking pretty good about this point. Okay, I think what we're going to do next is go ahead and put a couple of our cards together so that we can, because the other ones we're doing are kind of going to kind of be more of the same. But now I've got that glassy look. Let's see if we can get that glassy. See the difference in the shine this time? Now it looks like window glass. See that? With sparkles behind it. Now I've got that real glassy look. That's what I was going for. No, he absolutely did not come from a puppy mill. Nope. In fact, they said that in his genetic testing, even though he came from the Humane Society's genetic testing, shows that his great grandparents on down were purebred miniature poodles. Okay, so let's go ahead and construct some of our cards. We have two more we could do, but I'm going to hold on those for a minute. And sure, we can do a teddy cam. Let me wipe this off though so he doesn't get embossing powder all over his feet. Where did my wipes go? I have them. Oh, there they are. When you can't find something, look at the floor. That's where they were. Let me wipe this off so we don't get embossing powder all over him. Speaking of Teddy, let's do Teddy Cam. He's over with his daddy. There we go. Get that all cleaned off nice. Here we go. We're ready. Teddy, you gonna come see us? You gonna come see us, Ted? Here he comes. Here he comes. Hi, Teddy. Hello, Ted. He said, I've been sleeping, guys. So often when we see him, he's been sleeping because while we're working, he's over there sleeping in his daddy's arms. Can you say hi to everybody? Can you say hi? Hi. Hi. Can you lay down so they can see you? There we go. There we go. There, Teddy. He said, what's this? Let me stick my nose in your projects. This is why we cleaned up ahead of time. Because he said, yes, it's a tough life for a boy, for a little poodle boy. Should have been sleeping in my daddy's arms. Been sleeping in my daddy's arms. I do love a good cuddle. He's gotten to be more and more and more of a lap dog as he's gotten older. He loves to snuggle now. But it has to be on his terms. Try and pick him up when he's not ready to be snuggled and he'll run from you. Yes. So I told you about him roaming the neighborhood the other day. Well, look at this wad of tags this dog has. He has his, I have my rabies vaccine. He has his um, pet finder called Home Again. He's got his name tag with his phone number and on the back. He's got his Washington County dog license, and he's got his Banfield tag, and he's chipped twice. So if he ever gets away from us, I think he stands a pretty good chance of coming home. His grandpa, oh, look at he said, just scratch my chin and I'll be your friend forever. His grandpa comes home Saturday, right?
Father's Day weekend.
Yeah, which is this weekend, right? Is it this weekend? Next weekend. What's the date today? 12th?
Today's the 12th.
A week from today. So he's still got another week to go. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, are you ready to go see Daddy or go romp outside? Are you? Oh, he said, no, I'm not sure. Just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me, guys. Here you go. Here you go. All right. He's such a cutie, man. Love that dog. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and get our card blanks out here. But try as I might, I still got embossing powder clear over there. I'm going to cover my card, my first card, in mirror board. I only have one that has regular mirror board on it. It happened to be one I chose. Oh, he's missing his dad. Hi, Diane. Or his granddad. Bob called us on FaceTime the other day to FaceTime with Teddy. He made it quite clear he wasn't really interested in talking with the rest of us. He wanted to talk to his dog. He said, where's my dog? And then when he was talking to Teddy, Teddy was turning his head one direction and the other. We kept saying, where's Grandpa? And he was looking outside on the deck and looking out the front door. He could hear Bob's voice, and he was turning his head at Bob's. No, poodles don't shed at all. Their hair just continues to grow and grow and grow, and that's why they have to be groomed. But it's a small price to pay for such a sweetie. He was turning his head this way and that, looking at Bob. He wouldn't talk to Bob, but he was looking this way and that way, and then he'd run around and look for Grandpa when he heard his voice. But his grandpa's missing the dog, I'll tell you. So Grandpa talked to Ted for a while, then he wanted to see his cats, so Bryce took the phone and went out in the catio and was petting his cats and talking to him, and Grandpa could talk to his cats. And then Paula and Bryce, and Bryce was trying to talk to him, and he said, where's my dog? Where's my dog? So I had to come back in and find the dog again. He wasn't interested in talking to Bryce. He wanted to talk to his dog again. Where's my dog? He wasn't happy till he got to his dog. Okay, we're going to use on this blue car. You can put these in any order you like, but I used the red as my background. So since my card is 4 1/4 by 5 7/8, I'm going to cut this piece of mirror board. Got my cutter turned around here. I'm going to cut this piece of mirror board to 3 7/8 by 5 5/8 to layer that on top. And that should be a pretty good fit. And it is. So we'll go ahead and put this down. Yeah, he'll be back next week. So Teddy's down 1 out of 2 weeks. He'll be glad when his grandpa gets back. He has been, you can tell actually that he's lonesome for grandpa because he goes over and lays by the stairs, and he can look out a big front window from there, and he watches the driveway. And when he's not doing something else, when he's not being held by somebody, he's over there looking outside. So I know he's waiting for grandpa to come home. He knows grandpa went out that way. Yeah, they don't understand when we leave them. And Teddy hasn't really understood when we've gone to the movies and stuff, because for the last year, I've virtually always been home. You know, I don't go to the grocery stores or other stores for the most part. It's difficult for me to get around in there. But here's the value of these tape flags. I kind of got that just a little unstraight. And even though I had it kind of tacked down at the top because it's just a little adhesive, I could pop it loose and lay that in straight. But he hasn't really experienced being home by himself. And the other day, we all went to the movies when we went to see Cruella, and Teddy was home by himself. Well, my sister was going to the beach and leaving a car here, so she pulled in not 10 minutes after we left. And she said that dog went totally and completely berserk, just telling her all about how he'd been left at home by himself. And he was acting like he hadn't seen a human in weeks. We were still on the highway on the way to the movie theater. We hadn't been gone 10 minutes when she pulled in. And Teddy would have her know that he had been left alone way too long. She said it was pretty funny when she knew how long we'd been gone. Okay, I'm going to start by trimming this down along my rice paper lines. You actually could easily, if you wanted to, make this same design in a 5x7 by just using larger pieces of mirror board. Tell you the truth, I made European A6 because we're waiting for a resupply of our heavy 5x7 cards from UK. Our company Craft Style moved, and the move evidently didn't go real well, and they have been out of production for a little while, and so they're catching up on all their orders, and we haven't gotten our 5x7 cards yet. So we're pretty skimpy on what we have available and the heavier weight. So I made these in A6, but they could easily have been a larger card. It's not that they're cramped though. I mean, you can see it's not going to be cramped. When I trim this down, the image itself is European A6. So now I'm just going to trim this down to fit within the margins of my layering there. I think when I trim this, I'm going to take quite a bit off the bottom rather than taking it off the top, because I kind of like that just want to ride up there. And I think I have more room available at the bottom, so I think I'll trim it there. So we had our original card was 4 1/8, and then we did a layer that was 3 7/8. So this layer is going to be 3 5/8. So I'm going to trim that off the bottom. Yeah, that's going to be a good fit. Now I'm going to have to kind of take a little bit off each end to get to the margins I want on this one. I'm going to, let's see, originally it was 5 7/8, then we went to 5 5/8, so this is going to be 5 3/8. I'm going to take about an eighth, maybe a little bit more off the end, and I'm going to take a little bit off the front, and let's see how this will look. Did I get enough trimmed? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that looks good. That's going to look great. So let's go ahead and put that down. Some mirror board. We actually have some off-brand. Betty, if you email me, I will send you some links to some off-brand ones that we have that are 5x7s, and they may not be as easy to find, but I can link you to some 300 GSM 5x7s in the store. They just are a little bit more obscure brand, and you won't find them perhaps. I'm using them. I'm using these off-brand ones in some of the in the Animal Kingdom kits. So I have some 5x7s, and they're still good. They're just not our primary brands that we use. I won't sell you a bad one, but I will help you find them if you email me. Oh, Molly cries when you leave. Lauren's cat cries when she goes to work. Lauren's cat is about as spoiled as any cat ever, though. When Meredith was a baby and she would be with Lauren downstairs, Lauren would come upstairs and then the cat would cry. And Lauren, instead of calling the cat upstairs, would go downstairs and pick her up and carry her back upstairs. And now she pretty much, as an adult cat, insists that that's the way that she should be treated, is she should be coddled that way. She is so spoiled. Oh my gosh, that cat is spoiled. Okay, somewhere here I have a package of gemstones. What do they do with those? Are they on the floor? What do they do with those? Here's these, but those aren't the ones I'm looking for this card. What do they do with them? Under the trim? Oh, here they are. They're sitting on top of my card, and the colors kind of blended. They were on one of my card samples. Okay. Yeah, cats like to act like we don't matter at all to them, but we do. And they, you know what? Okay. We do matter to them. Okay, now I'm going to put a series of 3 gemstones. These are the nail heads. These are pretty. They're nail heads that are faceted, and they're gold. They're pretty. I'm going to put these in the upper right hand corner. You could go upper right or lower left. Either one is good. Well, hello, daughter. I was talking about you earlier when we were talking about scary movies, and when you were watching the scary movie and I came up the stairs and clapped. And I was also talking about when we were watching the vampire movie, and then when you went to go to bed, I told you you might want to close the blinds so you wouldn't see the vampires hovering outside, and you stayed awake all night. They think I'm mean, my friends here. Oops, they say I'm mean to you. Herds me to the bedroom. Lauren's cat does that too. She starts coming to bug Lauren and tell her. Teddy does that with Bryce too, though. Teddy always goes outside before bedtime. So about 9:30, they usually go to bed at 10 o'clock. And at about 9:30, Ted will go over and start ringing the bell to go outside. There we go. There's our finished card. He'll ring the bell to go outside to try and get Bryce to get up, take him outside, and go to bed. Okay, so we have this card done. Let's do our next card. Oh, anyway, we spoil our pets. Can you arrow down? Okay. I'm so sorry you have such a mean mom. You guys crack me up. Yeah, you had it rough, didn't you, Jordan? Growing up with such a mean mommy. It's hilarious. Oh, did Jordan answer yet? I have to show you what Jordan gave me. Guys, it's really cute. Let me see if I have something I can work on the back of. I'll put one on the back of here so you can see it. She just gave me this. She drew it and she just had this sent to me. Look. Isn't that cute? Jordan drew that for me. Okay, and then had it made into a stamp. Okay, let's see. We need a blank card. What did I do with my blank cards now? I moved them out of my way. Where did it go? And here's my mirror board. What did I do with my blank cards? Boy, I tell you guys, I'm kind of a disaster today. She's such a sweet. Is that a brat? Am I a brat, Roberta? She's such a sweet brat, Jordan. Well, I guess I'd rather be a sweet brat than just a brat. Okay, I'm going to use that copper color again. Oh, look at this one's a little bit short. I don't know why, but I will make it work. Huh. I bet it's just mine. In fact, a lot of times if we mess up with the kits, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a layer of white. My mirror board is short. I don't know why, but sometimes if we mess up cutting things, Brittany will give it to me. So I'm guessing that's what's happened here. I'm going to go ahead and what I'm going to do is leave a white border around the outside because that's actually going to look like a layer and that's going to look pretty cool. So, okay, so this is going to be 3. I'm going to cut this to 3 7/8 wide. And we're going to try that and see how that looks. See, I think that's going to look good. We'll just adapt. We're adaptable. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this one down. I think I'll cut it with my trimmer. You'd think that Corey and Lauren would have learned a long time ago that when we go to the movies, I'm going to be honorary to them. But they still invite me, so I guess they don't mind it too much.
Stop inviting you, you'll know.
Yeah, if they stop inviting me, I'll know that I pushed it a little too far. Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and cut this down. Let me put this on. What are you up to today, Jordan? She's still there? Sometimes she just signs in for a minute to say hi and then disappears quietly. You still there, Jordan? Just ran out of my big wide tape. I was just talking with Brittany yesterday. Oh yeah, there you are. What are you up to today? That's a good idea, Mary to put that on the back of my cards. I probably should do that. Maybe I will. because I just changed the logo on I was going to put it on our invoices downstairs, but I just changed the logo on there. So Teddy's already showing, I think, on the invoices. I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, because you're going to go visit your friends. Well, that'll be fun. Yeah, I think this might actually be a happy mistake that I got this little bit short um, mirror board, because I think that actually looks pretty good. Okay, now because I have a mat here now, I'm going to have to cut this one down a little bit. So I'm going to want this one. It went from 4 1/8 to 3 7/8 wide. So no, that's not true. 4 1/8 to 3 7/8. Yes, it is, to 5 5/8. So I want this one to be 5 5/8, which means then I'm going to have to, oh, that's still good. I'm going to cut off this edge. It still has a nice, it's not going to hurt it at all. And then I'm going to need to go from 5 7/8. This next layer was 5 5/8, so this is going to be 5 3/8 this direction. And I think that's going to be fine too. That's good. Now, before we put this down to the card, we want to, I think maybe I'm going to cut that just a little bit extra, just a little bit, so more of my oxidized Mirri shows. I'm just going to take another 1/8 off either direction. Just so I'm going to, because my cards, the only reason I'm doing this is because my Mirri was a little bit small. But I'm going to go to 3.5 by 5 1/4, which I still have to spare. And that's going to give me a little bit more of my Mirri showing. That's better. See there? That's going to be better. Before I put this down, I'm going to poke some holes for my brads to go through. So I'm going to get my pokey tool out here. And I want, now I'm taking the little discs out from behind mine only because I don't have matching ones. You will have matching ones in yours, and I like the discs in there, but you can use them with or without, depending on what you enjoy. Either way is fine. I was curious if these were leather or chipboard. It is chipboard. Those little discs are, but I think they actually look like leather and they're kind of neat. These were from K & Company, and they were eons ago they had these. I don't know that you would ever find these again. And I used up what we had in the store when I took these out of inventory. I'm going to come in far enough to center that, and I'm just going to take my tool and poke a little hole there to run my brad through. And spread the legs of my bread out good. Actually, this is one thing I like to do with my brads when I'm working on a layer that I want to lay down really good, is to do what I just showed you. I put it through, I spread the legs out on my bread, and then I push it down to the table to get a really nice flat fasten underneath, and that way it won't create a bulge in my card when I put it down. I'm going to poke a hole in the upper left-hand corner. I'm going to feed my other brad through. I like these darker colored brads with the oxidized Mirri in the darker color. That's pretty. I'm going to lay those legs out flat, and then I'm going to push it down. Can I see Jordan's comments? There we go. So now this isn't going to take any extra room at all. And I'm going to go ahead and use my tape then. Create some tape flags. Yeah, because she's been spending all her time with my grand puppies. I called Jordan on the phone and talked to her, and the dogs hear my voice and they run to the treat container because I give them commands via phone, and Jordan has to give them the treats. So anytime they hear Grandma's voice on the phone, they run to their treat container. Oh, it's time to play. It's time for some treats. I spoil them when I see them too, but I love that they immediately know it's me and that it's treat time. Okay, so this is going to be different. Look at this. Here's our original, and this will probably be what yours will look like. You might have any one of those three colors of discs, but this is what yours will look like. This is what mine look like because the mirror board's a little smaller. Both of them look good, I think. They just look different. Can you run the... Okay, excellent. So those are done. Okay, let's take a look at our other two cards. It's really, I could go through it, but it's really more of the same to do the other two. Let's take a look at these two. Now, this one, the Yudi has a little bit of cracking. I could easily fix that by taking my heat gun and just reheating the paste there, and that cracking will go away. I'm a little reluctant to do it because I have these gems hooked down to my card. And I'd have to take those off, and it's really not real pronounced. But because of using the Yudi on this one in my top layer, the card kind of buckled a little bit more, and then I had cracks in my finish. But I can fix that if it really bothers me. They're very subtle in this, so I don't know that I worry about it. But to make this one, you're going to do exactly the same thing in terms of, putting your image down to your tape, using your embossing pad and putting your glittered layer on, embossing that real well, and then putting down 3 layers of the glassy, the clear glaze on top of that, to create the window effect, and then put your green oxidized mirror board on here, trim this down to be 1/4 of an inch smaller, and then trim this down, and then put the black rhinestones on this one. So we've got that one. And then this one was kind of fun. This one, I just covered the card in my blue oxidized Mirri, and obviously I created my image the same way, although, yeah, this is a glittery one. This one, I tipped my image just a little bit and then trimmed off the edge that hung over the edge. You wouldn't really have to do that, but it doesn't sit quite as well if you don't trim off the part that actually falls off. But I wanted the mirror board, I really wanted the oxidized Mirri to show. And it's funny, this card, the car itself is at a little bit of an angle on the paper. So I straightened, to get my angle, I actually straightened the car out on the card, and then it looks, then it looks like the car is sitting level, but the card itself is at kind of askew, and then put my silver nail heads in the corners. But didn't that turn out fun? I love that too. Let's take a look at show and tell, and I'll answer any questions you have. I'm closing in on Craftaganza. I've been doing some pricing overnight, and I expect to have Craftaganza listings up tonight or tomorrow for pre-order. I will be starting to list the individual kits so that you can see what the designs look like. So, what the designs look like in each set. We'll do pre-orders on the Craftaganza and the Blockbuster bundles. We will not do pre-orders on the individual topper sets. So that's what we've got there. Let me bring this up, and let's look again at our cards for this week. In the coming week, look at the calendar and actually look at the schedule there online and tell me which of these two is Thursday and which is Saturday, if you would, please.
What schedule?
Go to the listing itself, so I know which one's which.
Something special? I don't know where you're talking
Yeah,
about.
go to the, Brittany put the date of the class in the listing. So I just need to know whether she gave me the horses on Thursday or the birds on Thursday. I think it's the horses and the elk on Thursday, but I'm not sure. That might be Saturday. Okay. Okay, so the birds are Thursday. Okay. Can I have my screen back, please? Okay, we've got the birds coming up on Thursday, which is this one. Here's our flamingo. And our second flamingo. Your kit will contain the leaves, it will contain the flowers, it will contain the filigree strip, it will have everything. This one has a Kathy Girl bow on it, which I thought was perfect for those. You also get a half sheet of dazzles in this one, as well as your foam squares. Here are the peacocks again. I didn't do a lot with the peacocks, and I couldn't bring myself to cut this off into an A6. I needed to show all those peacock feathers because this is just so beautiful. Love them, love them, love them. And here's the hummingbirds. This kit makes 5 cards. It's so pretty. And that's the 5. So we got 1 hummingbird card, 2 flamingos, and 2 peacocks in that one kit. And these kits are very affordably priced. I'm sure you would agree after looking at them. Then next Saturday, we're doing this Meant to Be Together set. And you get, and your kit will include the specialty folded cards. You get the eagle, You get the horses. Let me stand that up so you can see what that looks like. You get the horses with the purple gem or purple dazzles, and this is called a tall stepper card. We have the tattered lace die set for this tall stepper card in the store. So we got the tall stepper card. I love this one. Love, love, love this one. Now the second view of the horses. These are just so rich. The foiling is just gorgeous on these. Whoops. And you guys know how I feel about the deer. Oh, come on. Stand up. There we go. Well, maybe not. I must be trying to stand it on something. Here's my elk. The kits are also, yes, the kits are ready. They're done. And they are already shipping. In fact, if you pre-ordered it, and unless you were telling us to hold your order, they're already on the way if you ordered them through yesterday. Here's the elk by itself. I think these are just amazing. As soon as I finish getting the Craftaganza finished up, or listed for you, I will get back to these and make some more. But these are the first two of the Animal Kingdom, and these are going to be Thursday and Saturday of next week. Explosion boards, they are still on back order from the manufacturer to the distributors, and we don't know when they're coming for sure. I've decided to take a break from promising you that any particular date, because until We Are Memory Keeper sends them to the distributors, we're just not going to know. The current date they're showing to ship is 6/30. I have lots of them on order with 2 different distributors. Whoever gets here first will get the order, and then the other order is going to get canceled, or I'll end up with a whole warehouse full of explosion boards, which wouldn't really break my heart because the cards are so cool and the boards are so affordably priced. Hi, Stephanie. The boards are so affordably priced that I really don't care if I get them from both distributors, even though I have a lot of them ordered. But we will get explosion boards at the first available opportunity. I promise you I'll get them out there as soon as they come. I'll let you know they're here and we can start taking your orders, because I know lots of people want them and nobody's getting them anywhere, because the distributors are just back ordered. So any other questions, comments, or pearls of wisdom, guys? Any thoughts, any questions I can answer for you? If not, then be sure you mash that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, when those explosion boards come in, they are going to sell like hotcakes. If you haven't already mashed that thumbs up button, please do that for me. I do so love it. I appreciate it very much. And if you will hit that button for me, then we will be able to maybe see some new viewers coming in from YouTube. So it will be great. So thank you very much. You guys have a great weekend. We will see you on Wednesday. It's okay, Stephanie came in to say hi. We appreciate that. You can catch all the activity on the rerun, but we like seeing you. So if you are, I hope we'll see you on Wednesday for What's New Wednesday. Brittany has a whole load of stuff for me this week. And with that, let me just say good night, Gracie. Mary says GNG. Good night, Gracie. Bye, guys.